Hello everybody, Bill Owen from mmpctech.com. How you doing? Today we're looking at the new N600 case by Cooler Master. It offers a wide variety of cooling configurations for its mid-tower size, whether your preference is air or liquid cooling, and at a retail price of only $89.99. Out of the box, what really caught my eye was the full mesh front panel. It's made from perforated steel, so it's ventilated for maximum airflow and has a fine mesh screen on the back side, so your hardware is filtered from dust. The construction is a durable ABS plastic. Front inputs include headphone and mic jack, as expected, two USB 2.0 and two USB 3.0 ports. The power button is illuminated with a tiny reset button above it. There's a convenient on-off switch for the white LED in the front cooling fan, so you can turn it off if your rig sits on your desk in your bedroom or your dorm room. Overall, the N600 measures around 18 inches long by 17.9 inches tall and just over 8 inches wide. As you can see, I got a window on my sample. Cooler Master, you just saved me the time of adding my own window. Thank you. This version of the N600 with window is listed as model KWN1. The factory window is large and stylish looking, made from smoked plexiglass, mounted flush on the backside so there's no visible fasteners. With the growing popularity of liquid cooling today, it would be unwise to offer even a mid-tower case that doesn't accommodate at least one radiator somewhere. The N600 fits a 240 radiator in the top panel, or you can mount two 120mm fans or two 140mm fans. I like the slotted design of the perforated grill. It looks different, yet good. It also includes a removable filtered screen. All you have to do is just pop out the four plastic mounting tabs. On the back of the N600 is a built-in fan speed switch for setting the two included extra flow fans to high or low speeds. Also on the back is two tubing holes if you wanted to mount a radiator externally, 120mm exhaust fan, 7 PCI slots, and one vertical expansion slot for installing additional USB ports or fan controllers or other add-ons. The N600 includes a removable filter for the power supply. It also covers an additional optional floor intake fan. It's made from a fine mesh screen with flexible plastic frame and feels durable enough to withstand several years of usage. Looking on the bottom of the N600, the case feet are made from a soft plastic to help dampen vibration and to prevent your desktop or work surface from getting scratched. They're inserted into the floor with plastic push pins. Taking a closer look at the left side panel, it's ventilated with a grill because the N600 gives you the option to install a second 240 radiator. Maybe you want to do a dual liquid loop in your system, but this will require unscrewing and removing a portion of the 3.5-inch and 2.5-inch storage cage as seen in this illustration. You also have the option to mount a single 120mm fan in this area if you wish. The side vents share the same type of removable filtered screen as the top panel. Cooler Master has taken a great effort to squeeze a lot of features out of the N600's interior. There's ample space for routing cables and wires behind the motherboard. The cable grommets are huge. I don't think I've ever seen any this size for a mid-tower before. They're nice thick rubber and grab the edges of the openings so they don't feel like they're going to pop out, which I hate. The back side of the motherboard has a lot of stamped loops for tying down cables, so when you want to do a really nice cable management job, you don't have to use sticky cable tie bases. You've got all these real nice stamped loops instead. You can also mount an SSD on the back side of the motherboard if ever needed. The space alongside the lower hard drive cage is where you can fit the optional second 240 radiator, or this could be your main location for one 240 radiator, but you must remove the optional 120mm fan bracket. It's just screwed onto the hard drive cage, or you can leave it in and add the 120mm fan to help cool your 3.5-inch drives. You have a 3/4 inch gap between the side panel and the back side of the motherboard for routing cables. Let's take a closer look at the system access side of the N600 inside the chassis. You have three 5.25 optical bays, support for up to 7 3.5-inch hard drives, and 5 2.5-inch solid-state drives. The N600 will fit CPU coolers with heights up to 6.6 inches tall and graphics cards up to 16.9 inches long. Included is two Cooler Master Extra Flow 120mm fans, Only the front fan has the white LED in it. There's support for up to 8 additional 120mm fans in the chassis, so you can have a total of 10 120mm fans. The grill for the power supply is a large honeycomb pattern for good air ventilation. There's rubberized stickers that your power supply will rest upon. And you have the option of installing a 120mm fan in the floor for additional air intake, which is filtered. The chassis utilizes Cooler Master's Easy Tray quick releases for the 3 optical drive bays, and they feel durable enough to hold up for a long time. My question is, are manufacturers ever going to settle for one type of toolless design? It seems to change with every case they come out with. What I think is a really clever idea by Cooler Master is how you can unscrew and change the hard drive cage side walls to fit either 3.5-inch drives or 2.5-inch solid state drives. Doing this also allows you to add a 140mm intake fan to the front above the factory 120mm white LED fan. You can also add a 120mm fan to the side of the hard drive cage facing the CPU. Just a note to you fellow PC modders out there, the bottom hard drive cage is pop riveted to the chassis, not fastened onto screws, so you'll have to drill out these 5 pop rivets to add a 240 radiator to the front of the chassis. The front bezel pulls off easily from the gap in the bottom. This is for cleaning the mesh on the back side of it. And you can see that there's space for the second 120mm fan or 140mm fan if you remove the hard drive cage. I like the fact that the PC board for the front IOs is screwed onto the chassis, so it's easy to remove if you want to paint the chassis a different color like candy apple red. The front fan screws are spaced at 15mm apart for 2 120mm fans. So the space is there for mounting a 240 radiator in the front of the N600 with some modifications. I'm just saying. By the way, Cooler Master did offset the mounting holes for the 240 radiator in the top panel, so the radiator will clear the DDR slots on some motherboards out there. Or how about a 280 radiator in the ceiling of the N600? Not gonna happen. Unless you do some serious chopping of the chassis. Or how about a 280 radiator in the front? Well, the N600 has the width for one, but it's just a matter of having the time and patience to do it. In the accessory box, you'll find the manual, a large variety of needed screws for mounting drives and cooling fans, motherboard standoffs with this slick socket for installing the standoffs with a screwdriver, and the power supply mounting screws, a handful of cable ties, and the security lock bracket, a BIOS motherboard speaker, and mounting brackets for up to 7 3.5-inch hard drives and 5 2.5-inch solid-state drives. Let's finalize this review with my raves and revisions. I've got a lot of raves. I like the fit and finish. The overall quality is exceptionally good. I like all the cooling options they've thought of, whether you're into air cooling or liquid cooling, the storage options, and the value at $89.99. It's a good price. I would buy an N600. I would tell my friends to buy one. Revisions, I've got just one tiny nitpick, and that is, why not make the bottom hard drive cage removable with fasteners as well versus pop rivets? I'm surprised that they overlooked that. Overall, though, I think that the N600 is going to be a great case for Cooler Master. It's going to sell very well, and it's just a matter of maybe it fitting your personal look aesthetic. It's kind of plain in ways, but I kind of like that minimalistic styling of it. But I think it's a really nice case, and I want to thank everybody for watching my review. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos. I have new project videos I'm working on, along with the much anticipated part 4 of the Rebel A build with my intern Andrew. And you can watch all of MMPC Tech's projects on themodzoo.com, along with a full article on the N600 with a system build by our staff writer, Jesse. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you soon.